Hello everyone and welcome to the Cruise Corner podcast. My name's Will, I'm the editor of Cruise Trade News, and today I'm joined by a very special guest, Andy Harmer, Managing Director of CLIA UK and Ireland. And Andy, we're in a very interesting place for this very special episode of the Cruise Corner podcast.
To say the least.
Absolutely, and our viewers might notice a slight different backdrop.
Yes.
We are currently in Longyearbyen. I think I pronounced that right.
I think so. That'll do for
me. in Svalbard for CLIA's Expedition Showcase 2025. We're on day 4 at the moment. Tomorrow's the last day, but so far we've seen 5 different ships, which has been amazing. We've had business sessions, we've had training, one-to-one sessions. It's been good. How have you found it so far?
Well, first time here. Same for you?
Yep, first time here.
And it's really unusual. I mean, it feels like a frontier town. It's beautiful scenery. It's really a unique place. It's unlike anywhere else I've been before. The midnight sun, the fact that it doesn't get dark at all,
that is
really...
It's quite surreal when we all came out the pub the other night. I say it all.
I didn't come out that late.
No, when you do come out after dinner at like 10, 11, and it's the same as it is now. It is quite a shock to the system, but
it is
much better than the winter when it's...
Is it 3 months of complete darkness, which would be much more difficult?
Yeah,
I think.
Quite difficult. So we're very lucky to be here at the moment.
Yeah, it's lovely. And actually, we talked about doing an event. Well, actually, so our main conference in May is when we bring together all the ocean ships and we do an event around that. And then River developed later than that, but we do an event where we can get all the river ships together and do a river event. So we were looking for somewhere where we could get lots of expedition ships together over an event and bring people and do business sessions and learning and things like that. So, and actually we spoke to Luke Clark last year and he suggested we did it in Svalbard. Brilliant. So actually, as a result of that, we then did lots of work and lots of research. But it's great to be here, and it's great to have that combination of showcasing the destination and also ships.
Absolutely. I mean, I've spoken to a few agents and suppliers, and they've all agreed in that with Expedition, it's all well and good seeing the ship when you can, when it's in the UK, but actually seeing it in a destination like this adds to the actual product massively, because obviously that's what the ships are built around, is where they go.
Exactly, yeah. It's not, in Expedition, as you know, it's not just about the ship and the ship experience, it's about how they bring to life the destinations they visit. So it seemed really useful to come here and see some of the destination. And actually we added on a boat trip yesterday where we spent a few hours going around the coastline and again brought to life that destination experience that you would get on a cruise, because we were away from the town and we were seeing lots of wildlife and bird life and great new scenery. So
and it's, it gives agents an idea of what their customers can do, and the attendees that are here with us will take away so much more than if they, just do. Obviously, the training is really good that they can do back in the UK, but actually getting to see what customers can see. And we got very lucky on the boat trip yesterday with the amount of wildlife.
We really did.
Walrus, beluga whales, minke whales. No polar bears, unfortunately. Puffins as well, yes. And loads of wildlife, which was excellent.
Yeah. And I think it's also the fact that, so if you do a ship visit in the UK, for example, you leave the office, you spend the day visiting one ship and you go back. But actually what we like to do, and we do the same at River, is that you get to see multiple ships in one day. And actually it's that comparison side by side that I think is just as important as seeing one ship. Definitely. Because you can really understand the differences in the atmosphere on board as well as the focus on board. Yeah. So that's been helpful.
Really helpful. And I think obviously some expedition ships we've seen have been similar in terms of build with the Expos as you'd expect, but it's been quite nice to see the different nuances and how different companies change the small things they can and how much it adds to the different brands, which is also really important.
Yeah, and I guess if you were reading a brochure or you were listening to someone talk about the ships and the differences in the ships, you wouldn't appreciate maybe how big those differences are and actually how important those differences are. So yes, the focus is very much on destination, but that onboard stuff is still an important part of the overall holiday experience.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Yeah, so great to do both ships, destination,
it's been brilliant.
Sun, everything.
Yeah, really good. There's been a lot of firsts. I mean, I'm not going to claim this is the most northern podcast ever filmed. It might be. Who knows? We don't know. But I am reasonably confident, that I've never personally recorded a podcast in a pair of slippers. I don't know if you have.
No, I haven't recorded a podcast.
There you go. See, there you go.
At least I brought my own slippers.
I know.
As well,
very nice. And that, for the viewers who might not know what we're talking about, it's a tradition in this area that take your shoes off at night when you go into buildings. And I didn't realise that, but once you well, once I did the fossil hike on Wednesday, I completely understood why you do these sort of things, because everywhere you go, obviously at the moment it's a bit dry at the moment, but in the winter it's completely sleeted in snow. So that respect
it is an interesting custom. So even if in a hotel you're encouraged to take your shoes off and put slippers on, it's quite nice.
It's very comfortable.
It's probably the longest business sessions program I've delivered in slippers, and then seeing other speakers in slippers as well was nice.
It was good. Speaking of the program and the business sessions, obviously there were tons of learnings, and I found it was one of the most detailed conferences I've been to, considering it was just in the morning. But we heard from Andy from AE, and we heard from and from Pono, we heard from yourself. We had lots of data and stats about how much the expedition industry is growing, and there seems to be tons of opportunity there for agents. So for agents who are listening to this who haven't been here, what sort of things, what opportunities are there for agents in the sector? Obviously, it's quite a niche. It's quite a skill to sell expedition. So what should agents look out for to boost those expedition sales?
Yeah, it's still niche. So actually, even if you take cruise, we're still a small percentage of total holidays, but actually within that, expedition is even smaller and smaller than river even. So it is really small, but firstly, it's a great opportunity for agents to kind of focus on something different that isn't offered elsewhere in many places. So I think that's important for many agents. And I think secondly, that repeat business that they'll get from customers, because once you do one of these expedition cruises or visit one of these places, you want to try the next place and the next place and the next place, and that's an important thing. And I think thirdly, there's we've seen new ships being delivered into the market over the past 5 years. That will continue. We've seen new operators even enter into the market, so there's lots of opportunity for agents to switch to it. And I think there's been a real change to how holiday makers want to holiday. So actually it is about the experience. It's about those destination experiences. We know that cruise is very good at it in general, but actually expedition takes it almost to the next level. So it's taking people off the beaten track. It's taking people to places where they can see amazing wildlife in its natural environment. And it's great value for money. So,
really is,
if you look at what's included, and all of those opportunities, then it's an amazing opportunity for agents.
Absolutely.
And because of that higher price point, that means that's, improved commission opportunities as well. But it does take work. It takes some knowledge of the ships and the cruise line, as well as the destination experiences and what customers will see. But I think, and then it takes a while to educate customers into that as well.
Yeah.
So it's not a quick win, but for those agents who stick with it and really focus on it, it's a great opportunity.
Yeah, definitely. And one of the things that I learned, or I found quite interesting from the sessions, was the point about targeting which customers and who to know, who to go to for an expedition cruise. And it's actually a really good market for new to cruise. And if you've got customers in your database who have done safaris, have done places like Australia, who love the wildlife encounters, these expedition ships are sometimes the only way to go to certain destinations, like the Arctic, Antarctica.
100%. Yeah, and actually a lot of customers will say they're going to Antarctica, it just happens to be on a ship, or they're going up to Svalbard, it just happens to be they're doing it on a ship. So it's not always that cruise element is first in that front of mind. It's actually the destination and seeing that wildlife in its natural environment and all of those things. That's the big thing. And then it just happens to be on a ship is kind of not secondary, because actually you need that ship element, not just to get there, but also because the expedition team on board do an incredible job of bringing to life the experiences on offering destinations. So it is that opportunity though for travel agents to focus on customers who want a certain destination experience and say, brilliant, I've got the right way to do that for you. It just happens to be on a ship. So and as you say, lots of these places you can only really visit on a ship.
And it's and having almost that floating boutique hotel with you while you're doing it, and after a long day of expedition, which can be strenuous, it can be tiring, being able to get back on and go in these incredible saunas. I mean, we saw the one on Quark today, which has the best
view of any sauna in the world.
Sauna in the world. Not sure the polar bears would like what they're looking at on the other side, but it's like after a long day of expedition, it just must be incredible.
And it is a long day, and actually, so on a normal expedition cruise, you'll do 2 landings, you'll do a couple of Zodiac rides a day, and there's a lot of getting changed and getting ready to do that, and then the time spent ashore in the Zodiac itself. So it's not laying on a beach or laying on the sun lounger, but that's why people are going. That's what people want to do. So it's a really important thing. But you're right. Then that ability to go back to the ship and eat well and and actually travel with like-minded people. That's
Yeah,
another important part of expedition, I
absolutely.
think, is that those people have chosen to be there and to see
Mm.
those experiences, and so they're happy to chat about it. So it becomes a very sociable environment.
Yeah, and we saw on a ship yesterday that they had some shared solo cabins where solos will travel and stay in a cabin with
Yeah,
someone they might have never met before, which I think is a great idea because there'll be
yeah,
customers out there who would absolutely love to meet new people and even stay in the same room as them. And if you are sharing these incredible experiences together, you sort of
yeah.
develop a bond
It does.
with
It
each other.
brings you together. So actually, when you're doing your landings, for example, they'll do it in a group, and so you stick in that same group for the
Yeah,
full trip, and you do develop that bond about what time, when are we going down,
yeah,
and
yeah.
which zodiac are you going in. But you're right; those shared solo cabins, if that's what they're called,
Mm.
is a big part because actually solo travelers is a big
Huge
part
part.
of
Yeah.
the expedition demographic. So great that these cruise lines have listened to that, and there are still some solo cabins for those people who want them.
Mm.
But yeah, that chance to bring the cost down and share and then
Yeah.
make new friends is great.
It's a great entry point into it as well because cost can be an issue. I know they do fetch a high price, but
Yeah,
what you get for that is
yeah,
next to none.
these are unbeatable
Yeah,
experiences, I think.
honestly,
So yeah,
once in a lifetime. And speaking of experiences, obviously you've got your cold expedition, which people know a lot about, but you've also got your warm weather expedition. And I know yourself went to the Kimberley,
yes,
which
my
sounded
first
amazing.
expedition
How was
cruise.
that?
It was amazing,
Mm.
and actually it was 15 years ago, and I
Mm.
can't believe that we're still at a state where a lot of people don't even know it
Mm.
exists as an opportunity. So I flew into Darwin. It was 10 nights across to Broome. Um, and there's some wildlife there, but actually, it's the natural environment that you're going into
Mm.
that's amazing. It's one of those places in the world where the sea level drops the most. I think it's the biggest drop anywhere in the world. So
Wow.
actually, you're sailing along, and I can't remember the name of the place now, Montgomery Reef, I think. But you sail into Montgomery Reef, and it's just an area of water. But then when the tide goes out, it's almost like these little islands
Brilliant.
appear above the sea level, and so you can then go to them and enjoy
Yeah.
them. So there's things like that. It's
Amazing.
a most amazing, unspoiled place. There's one road in and one road out, and that's it. So you have to do it by ship.
Mm.
And increasingly, cruise lines that are well known go there now for the season. There was very few when I first went there.
Mm.
But it's one of those places, as you say, that people don't know that you can do.
Yeah.
And I think that's a bit of the barrier that we need to get across is that a lot of customers may not know you can go to Antarctica,
Yeah.
or may not know you can go to Borneo or to the
Yeah.
Galapagos or Kimberley and all those other places. So
Mm.
yeah, it's a great opportunity.
Yeah, the options are really endless with expedition. I think it was Andy who said yesterday you could expedition anywhere. Like it's I'm not even sure he would
Well,
say that,
and
but
well, of course it would. And actually, the British Isles
yeah,
has really developed as an
yeah,
expedition destination in itself.
yeah, and that's what Joss was saying
yeah,
yesterday as well about his incredible bird watching story and how
yeah,
he's become a convert to bird watching, which I'm sure we'll
he
get him on
seems
an
obsessed.
episode. Yeah, I'm sure we'll get him on an episode, and we might only talk about birds. But
well,
yeah,
I may
yeah,
talk more about that, but he has become obsessed
yeah,
because of that single expedition trip he did around the British
yeah,
Isles. But you see, the cruise lines are now introducing more and more of those itineraries. We're seeing more ships in the UK. So actually, it's a great way for the UK to benefit from that inbound tourism, but also it's great for customers who
yeah.
want to go and see puffins in their natural
Exactly.
environment and all of
Yeah,
those
it
things.
sounds brilliant. And so, I'm sure you've got tons on your plate at the moment. But what else have we got to look forward to from CLIA for the next few months, next year or so?
So it actually staying in the expedition frame of mind. So one thing that we did launch last year was our Expedition Cruise Champion program. It was a kind of a set 6-month learning program. We had about 35 agents complete that, became the class of 25. We're opening registration for the next set of people. So if there are people who want to learn all about expedition and the opportunities and the destinations, then that will be available in August. And at the same time, we'll open up River Champion and Luxury Champion for the first time.
Excellent.
So that's all very exciting. We have Cruise Week coming in September, which we'll start announcing details of through August. But I think it's been a very busy year for people.
Yeah.
So the summer is normally a little bit calmer, I think. But there's lots to look forward to. This industry is great because there's lots of new ships still coming this year. There's lots of ongoing investment, and I think as we move into sales for 2026, we'll see that our industry continues to grow and develop. So
Brilliant.
lots to do.
Lots to do. Any clues on where the Expedition Showcase might take us next year? Where would you like us
Let's
to go?
get this one finished. Yeah, we haven't finished yet. We've still got dinner tonight. We've got a ship visit tomorrow. But and actually said the survey will go out next week to both cruise lines and to attendee travel agent delegates. We'll see what the feedback is, what kind of places. I think, again, we're very lucky in the UK. We are surrounded by quite a lot of expedition areas. I wouldn't mind coming back.
I honestly wouldn't mind coming back. I absolutely would. I think it has been brilliant.
Yeah.
We've and the locals are just so friendly. We've been welcomed really well.
It's been great to be here.
Yeah, excellent. So I always like to end our episodes with a question. And that question is not directly related with the industry, but a big part of why we launched Cruise Corner was to inspire the next generation of cruise industry professionals. Yeah. So if someone is watching this now who's just started out maybe as an agent, as a sales rep, or whoever, maybe even in the world of media, if you had any advice to give them to get them to the next stage of their career, what would that be?
I think, listen, I started one of the first jobs I got in my career was as a teacher. And actually that's what led me into what became CLIA. I think it's just be curious. Be curious about the industry. Be curious about what opportunities there are for you personally, but as well as for the industry itself. Be curious about the jobs and the businesses that other people do, and keep learning. There's a big world out there, and I think there's a big opportunity for people in our industry.
Absolutely, Andy. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk today. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming.
It's been excellent. Can't wait for next year. Can't wait to see what CLIA's got planned as well. It's going to be great. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Cheers.